That whole down to like, you feel me, to the 60s, where unfortunately, I think this was at like 67th and Fig.
It said 69th.
69, okay. So
people keep whispering, it's Get Back. Others swear something big is happening behind the scenes. But think back, do you remember when all of Los Angeles froze the day Nipsey Hussle's name became both a legend and a curse? Years later, Big U's son ends up dead, and the killer straight up confesses, I did it for Nipsey. But what if this wasn't about revenge at all? What if it was the final play in a decade-old betrayal that no one saw coming? Halloween night in South Los Angeles was never supposed to end like this. Around 11 p.m., under that dim orange streetlight glow near West 69th and South Figueroa, the silence got ripped apart by gunfire. Witnesses said it happened too fast to even blink. Seconds later, Jabari BigU Henley, the 34-year-old son of LA legend Eugene BigU Henley, was lying still on the pavement outside a smoke shop. Multiple shots, close range, no chance to fight back. The coroner's report was cold and final. Multiple gunshot wounds. Homicide. Police pulled up fast, tried CPR, but it was no use. Jabari was gone before the ambulance even made it to the hospital. LAPD called it a targeted hit, but they didn't name names or say why. That silence, it sent social media into overdrive. Speculation everywhere. People dropping theories, connecting dots that might not even exist. Then, on a viral episode of No Jumper, the host sounded broken, talking about how unreal it felt to lose someone who meant so much to LA's story. You could feel it, the city's pain. Meanwhile, behind prison walls, BigU, once one of the most powerful and polarizing names in Los Angeles, was serving time on federal RICO charges. When word hit that his son had been murdered, it crushed him. His empire already under fire, his name under the microscope, and now his family hit with the deepest cut imaginable. To outsiders, that corner at 69th and Figueroa might just look like another street. But for anyone from South Central, that spot is the Blade, a notorious stretch known for its wild nightlife, non-stop hustling, and sudden bursts of chaos. ABC 7 Eyewitness News confirmed it. The shooting went down right outside the Sunset Smoke Shop, across from a little liquor store. The shooter pulled up, called Jabari by name, and fired from the driver's seat before peeling off into the night, cold-blooded. Detectives didn't need long to figure it out. This wasn't random. This was personal. Locals weren't shocked. As one podcast host said, that corner, that's the most popping street on the Blade, meaning it's always active, always dangerous. Sadly, this was just another hit in a string of recent shootings that had the community on edge. City maps showed the area lighting up with crime markers like a warning sign. No one was reading. Gang intervention workers had been pleading with city leaders to pay attention, to step in before it boiled over. But help was thin, and attention was elsewhere. So who really was Jabari BigU Henley? Born in 1991, raised in the chaos and rhythm of South LA, he carried his father's legacy in his name and his neighborhood in his blood. Some people swore rival sets saw their chance to strike while BigU was behind bars. Others claimed it was revenge for old street politics, but none of that was ever backed by cops. LAPD said the city's gang-related homicide rate had already jumped 34% higher than the year before. Analysts blamed it on social media beefs, turf wars, and the grind of post-pandemic poverty. But for those who knew the Henleys, this hit. It hurt different. It wasn't just another stat, it felt personal. Detectives begged the public to stay patient. No suspects, no motive, but the rumors wouldn't die. People whispered that Jabari's killer had ties to Nipsey Hussle himself. Some even said he did it for Nipsey. And soon enough, that whisper turned into a courtroom bombshell that would shake Los Angeles to its core. I did it for Nipsey. That was the line that broke the internet. On the morning of November 7th, 2025, just a week after Jabari BigU Henley was killed, LA woke up to a headline that didn't seem real. BigU's son, suspect arrested, confession stuns courtroom. According to ABC 7's police bulletin, LAPD's Southeast Division and the gang unit had arrested 27-year-old Deshaun Lil Price Walters after a routine traffic stop in Compton. Inside the passenger seat of his gray Dodge Charger, detectives found a Glock 17 with the serial number scratched clean off, and it matched the shell casings from the Sunset Smoke Shop scene. But the gun wasn't what sent shockwaves through the city. It was what Walters said when cops read him his rights. Fast forward to February 21st, 2026. A Los Angeles Superior Court sat in total silence as Walter stood before Judge Maria Lopez for sentencing. Convicted of first-degree murder, he'd stayed emotionless through the whole trial. But that day, gripping the podium with shaking hands, he finally spoke. According to the Los Angeles Times transcript, Walter said, "I know what I did was wrong. I know I took a life, and I know his family is hurting. But I need everyone to understand. I did it for Nipsey BigU took someone we all loved, someone who lifted our community. His son Jabari carried that same energy, that same name. I felt like it was justice, but now I realize I was just as wrong as anyone else." The courtroom exploded. Family members screamed in disbelief. Dion Henley, sitting front row, buried his face in his hands. On a video feed from the Metropolitan Detention Center, BigU just stared blankly at the screen, stone cold, unreadable. Court officers rushed in trying to calm the chaos as people on both sides started shouting. Walters kept talking, his voice breaking apart. Nipsey meant everything to us. He was more than a rapper, he was hope. And when he died, we all blamed BigU. We blamed him for not protecting Nip, for the beef, for everything. So when I saw Jabari that night, I thought I was balancing the scales. I thought I was doing what Nipsey would have wanted, but I was wrong. Nipsey never wanted this. Tears filled the courtroom. Some people wept, others just shook their heads in disgust. The whole confession showed just how deep the conspiracy theories had burrowed into LA's culture since Nipsey's death. For years, social media had been a wildfire of rumors linking BigU to Nipsey's murder, even though no evidence ever backed it up, and Eric Holder had already been convicted in 2022 for the crime. But that didn't stop people from spinning their own stories, pushing their own narratives online. Prosecutors painted a dark picture of Deshaun Walters' fall into obsession. They showed hundreds of social media posts filled with anger toward BigU, posts glorifying Nipsey, ranting about revenge and hinting at violence. Text messages revealed long chats about making BigU pay, feeding a dangerous fantasy that blurred the line between loyalty and madness. Mental health experts testified that Walters had spiraled into isolation, consumed by digital rabbit holes about the rap game, gang politics, and revenge theories. Hours every day online, surrounded only by echo chambers that told him he was right. His real-world circle had disappeared. His online world had become his reality. In the end, prosecutors made it clear, Walters acted alone. No gang orders, no secret alliances, just one man driven by lies and street rumors that refused to die, convinced he was carrying out justice for Nipsey when he was really just fueling another tragedy in Los Angeles' long, painful history. Around that same time in Los Angeles hip-hop circles, BigU started making some serious moves behind the scenes. He pivoted from the streets into something new, launching Developing Options, a nonprofit that claimed to fight gang violence by giving at-risk youth city-funded jobs. At first, it sounded like redemption in motion, but soon whispers started flying that the operation wasn't as clean as it looked. The Los Angeles Sentinel reported concerns about shady accounting, federal grant misuse, and suspicious ties to city contracts that didn't quite add up. While BigU was rebranding himself as a community figure, Nipsey Hussle was rewriting the game. He refused to bow to the industry, built his own label, All Money In, and made history when he sold his Crenshaw mixtape for $100 a copy. That move wasn't just bold, it was revolutionary. It turned Nipsey into the face of independence, ownership, and street-level genius. Meanwhile, BigU, once his mentor, was left on the sidelines watching as Nipsey became everything he had once dreamed of being, a leader respected by both the streets and the suits. But that kind of glow-up doesn't come without a price. By 2016, the streets were buzzing with talk that Nipsey's success came with quiet obligations, that certain Crenshaw figures still expected their cut for protection and access. YouTube documentaries and underground podcasts jumped on it, painting a picture of a hidden extortion network. And right in the middle of it, BigU's name kept popping up. As Hot New Hip Hop reported, BigU's so-called check-in system for rappers and athletes blurred the line between mentorship and muscle. The rumor was that if you were an out-of-town artist coming to LA, you had to clear it through BigU's connections or risk getting pressed by local sets. Some insiders even claimed certain athletes and rappers quietly paid protection money just to move safely through specific neighborhoods. None of it was proven in court. But when BigU got hit with that 2025 RICO indictment, the speculation suddenly felt a lot less like gossip. Court documents laid out a wild story, a tangled web of intimidation and extortion allegedly run by BigU and several associates. The targets? Everyone from small business owners to visiting celebrities. Yet on camera, BigU kept his image polished. He spoke at youth programs, sat on podcasts preaching about change, and presented himself as the guy who escaped the cycle and turned pain into purpose. But no matter how many speeches he gave, the streets never forgot. That shadow of his past followed him everywhere. By the late 2000s, Nipsey and BigU were living in the same city, but on completely different frequencies. Nipsey was out there hosting business meetings with city developers, pushing STEM programs, and talking about generational wealth. BigU was managing artists, building gang intervention networks, and still holding quiet influence in parts of South LA. On camera, they kept things professional, but insiders told all hip-hop news that behind closed doors, the old tension was always there. The wounds, they never healed. The energy between them wasn't open beef, but everyone in the scene could feel it. It was that unspoken current running through LA hip-hop. Everyone knew about it, but nobody dared say it out loud. So when Jabari BigUFamily was killed on Halloween night in 2025, all that buried tension came rushing back like a ghost from the past. Deshaun Walter's courtroom confession, "I did it for Nipsey," didn't just come out of nowhere. It was the product of years of rumors, lyrics, online debates, and blurred lines between real life and street mythology. Every whisper that claimed BigU had blood on his hands became fuel for someone else's idea of justice. One twisted belief led to another man's death. A former associate told LA Weekly, "The city turned them into symbols. Nipsey became the light. BigU became the shadow. You can't kill one without the other haunting you." That line hit hard because in LA, legacy and loyalty are never clean. Vengeance doesn't just vanish, it gets passed down like family trauma. Today, murals of Nipsey Hussle still stretch down Crenshaw Boulevard, bright blues and golds shining like hope itself. Kids wear marathon hoodies, repeating "the marathon continues," but most have no idea who BigU really was, or how deep his connection ran to the man they now call a legend. Loyalty always comes with a price, and in South Central, that price can cost you everything. BigU's story shows the painful truth. Leaving the streets behind isn't easy. The same hustle and survival instincts that once made you powerful out there can turn into poison when you try to live legit. The same crowd that cheered for you can be the same one that drags you back down. For those who lived through their war, both BigU and Nipsey Hussle represent one brutal reality. Loyalty in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. Protection can twist into control. Mentorship can slide into manipulation. In LA, love and violence have always lived on the same block, and the line between them, razor thin. Now the real question is, will the next generation finally learn from this pain, or are they doomed to repeat it? Will they follow Nipsey's real message, economic freedom, ownership, community building, or keep chasing revenge, thinking that's what respect looks like? Will they see BigU's story as a complex journey of change, or just write him off as another villain in a street legend gone wrong? These questions matter because the cycle never sleeps. Even right now, in some corner of South LA, young men are watching what happened to Jabari BigUFamily and deciding what it means. Some will see it as a warning, a story about what happens when loyalty turns blind. Others will take it as a sign that old debts still need to be paid in blood. That's the trap, the same one that's taken generation after generation. Deshaun Walters will spend the next 35 years behind bars thinking about all this, thinking about what he really accomplished. Because in the end, he didn't honor Nipsey, didn't serve justice, didn't fix anything. All he did was add another name to LA's endless wall of lost souls, another father mourning a son, another story written in pain. The marathon keeps going like Nipsey always said, but maybe it's time to ask, where is it running to? Toward more violence and revenge, or toward real growth, empowerment, and unity, the kind Nipsey actually stood for? Because that answer decides whether these deaths, Nipsey's, Jabari's, even Deshaun's wasted future, will mean something more than just tragedy. 3 families destroyed: the Asghedams who lost Nipsey, the Henleys who lost Jabari, and the Walters who lost their son to a prison sentence that'll take nearly his whole life. Different stories, same ending. Mothers crying, brothers grieving, kids growing up without fathers. And somewhere in South Central, another young man is watching, learning, deciding what to do next. The question is, what lesson will he choose? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more deep dive stories right here on RippleFame.